Hi Libra, if you want to come on in, we'll see what your scroll is, your message in a bottle. We'll scry for shapes and symbols that speak. As well, we have a shaman's palm here for elements that are supporting. We'll add on the native spirit for any additional support. And we have the ghost tube. Usually I have the audio version on, but today we have the visual version, ghost tube seer, for anything that may further show up, if anything, to inspire. Here's your scroll if you want to take a screenshot so you can scry in your own time and terms for shapes and symbols that speak to your psyche and psychic senses and to empathically explore your aura. Libra, as always, thank you so much for being my muse, for holding space for me to share my insights and allowing me to be a guest in your aura. You're very sweet in your aura. How sweet it is to be in love by you. Okay, there it is. Horrible singing from Stephanie, but it comes out all the time. So sorry, not sorry. All right, Libras, I'm going to take a moment if you'd like to join me to close the eyes, cleansing the palette of perception, releasing the race and the rush, activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. Now let's wander the aura of Libra. Thank you. Okay, I'm seeing one of those pictures. I don't know how famous it is, but it's, say it's like a building being built or something, scaffolding. It can be really anything. It can be wood. And there's a bunch of workers, construction workers, I guess, sitting on it, and they're having their lunch. I'm seeing one in particular, and they're like towards a cave or an opening of something, Libra. I'm not sure what you're working towards, but they're sitting right in there. And here's like the opening. And see how it's truly made in your name and essence. Sometimes it's very obvious, sometimes it's not. I don't know if anyone follows Ra. The law of one is coming through, Libras. Maybe that will inspire. Maybe it's up your alley as a channeled text. I'm just going to leave it there, but I do see like a crystal cave. I actually see it more specifically as a diamond cave in a diamond shape, but it doesn't have to be a diamond. It's just the shape that seems to be important. It's also protected. It's protected by, okay, so I see people like putting different things over this portal, I'm going to call it, or this place. It could even just be like a stump of contemplation to work through any complications, because it feels like I'm thinking. It's not a matter of going in or out, I'm hearing. It's not so much about that. It's simply seeing it's like having prismatic perception, Libra. That's what it feels like, prismatic perception. And I can kind of sit in the center of it. And sometimes, okay, so it feels like I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this because I'm working on some sort of, I don't want to call it matrix. Nope, this is some sort of design in my head. Now, this could be the design redecorating your home. It could be the design of your life, your job. Maybe you're working on a project, creative, corporate. All those channels are your own. Maybe it's even your relationships. I'm trying to design something. So I'm going to sit in this space that I have carved out, and it may look like nothing, quote unquote, nothing or nothing special. But energetically, there is a diamond there. And I'm really getting the sense, like, because this is where, like, diamonds of the rough, but it's like carving out the diamond happens. Because Libras have this space of contemplation through any sort of complications or creations for prismatic perceptions. Like, I can go through, maybe it's the times when you're even on your phone and you're swiping. There's something about this. So that's the other rabbit hole about it. One, I feel very conscious, and I'm sitting in this, contemplation stump, and I'm designing and thinking about what I want. Very philosopher feel, if I may. It has that vibe around it, not because it needs to be overly serious, because it's not necessary. The energy, the intention is intact. So adding this, brutish philosopher thing isn't necessary. There's a sincerity about it, and it feels very, very sweet. Like, if my arms are crossed, like, it's not very common in a reading. Anyway, but the other rabbit holes is I'm seeing like swiping with this prismatic perception. And maybe you can like go through things really, really quickly. But I'm suddenly seeing like a slowing down. Like, what am I really looking at? It's like I'm becoming conscious of what my subconscious is seeing. And now, nowadays, whether it's flipping a book and you're like, what did that say? Like if you're going through, if you are reading the Law of One or some other channeled text or some other book that's inspiring you, or it's in your field or your industry, you know, and as you're flipping the pages, you go back, you write notes, you interact with it a little bit. And if it's in the, you know, new age or modern age, there's this swiping, and you might save it or bookmark it, but it's less right there to remember, right? But there's something about the subconscious seeing consciously and becoming very aware of that. So if someone would, you know, just a quick swipe, or suddenly it's like, I'm actually, again, not in this serious way, but in this curious, I'm paying attention way. That's how that's feeling. Libra is fascinating. I'm going to flip it here and see if anything else comes through. And we'll prepare for your shaman's palm. Go through your different caves of elements. I don't know if somebody had, yeah, we're still here. I don't know if somebody had a child pass over, maybe in the winter time or in a winter. Maybe something about ice or ice skating or driving in ice. They're very much so like in your warmth still. They're very, very much so in your warmth, even if this was a miscarriage or a pet even. So this goes out. I feel like there's just a lot of young. No, it's not a matter of them being young and applying an age. They're showing me like smaller incarnations. So they might have been children, babies, you know, embryos, to pets of all different sizes. They're still in your warmth. You're still in your warmth. There also might be some Libras that really connect with animal therapy. And I mean, like maybe working with it or receiving it, or animal Reiki, something along that lines. Because they just love your warmth. I don't know if somebody's like a librarian storyteller or something like that. Like I just feel like there's this gathering. And I think that's the sweetness in your energy. It's like, oh, I just feel so darn sweet, even though there's this seriousness in regards to your career or your job or your position or your relationship or your spirituality. But then there is this sweetness. How sweet it is to be loved. And they still feel like all the love. That's really beautiful. I'm going to wander into your cave of ice here, and we have Spirit of Empowerment stepping forward. Going into your cave of winds of your thoughts, Shaman of Tradition. In your cave of hearth fires is Dancer of Fear. These were pre-shuffled, by the way. I don't know if I need to validate that, but nonetheless it was. In your cave of rivers, Hunter of Death. And of your cave of earth, we have here Ancestor of Illusion coming through. Thank you. I'm going to clarify with Spirit Companion. So your scroll is in the palm of the midworld. Kind of like a little palmistry, abstractly. And then your Spirit Companions are over here working through these elements, but we'll add on in between. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to all those who do and those who support through Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal. Like, you warm my haunted heart. Thank you. Truly, thank you. Okay, so this is for if anyone who has a spirit or small one in the spirit realm that is freed from the density. Something about they hear you speak to them. They hear you speak. They shine very, very brightly. Very, very brightly. And they like to play with you, and they still like to hold your hand, wandering into the pet realm as well. Like they sometimes will almost like get their own pet by your hand. It's very, very sweet. It's very, very sweet. Cave of Winds with your Shaman of Tradition. I'm not disappointed if things don't go the traditional way. There might be a new path for me to take, a different path for me to take. One part of you might feel chained to something. And then the other part knows it's not. Ancestors. Okay, so there might also be something in your lineage, heritage, culture of this lifetime. Also other lifetimes currently happening in other paralleling presents that are coming through. It's like suddenly if you have like an affinity for Victorian times, or suddenly you're really again, it's like the kind of like the law of one or something like that. Or when you're swiping through, oh, I didn't really think I would like, I don't know, pick a culture, pick a religion, pick a spirituality concept. It's all language, and it's all individually expressed through people. But that's what it feels like. You might have other ancestors of this time that you're very well aware of, and the traditions are familiar. And that's why, okay, so that's why on the one side it feels quote unquote normal, but like through this subconscious seeing very consciously, it's like see the others of us, your other family that are with you, walking with you. Please move through your fears, any fears that you have, to say, ooh, I don't know. Listen, it's like noticing like instinct brings out fright to survive, right? So if we feel fright at that root core, it is to survive the generations where we generate. And when that red light comes on, we listen. That's like natural fright. This is about fears that perhaps we, it's like, okay, so I'm seeing it like a red ant, like being bitten by a red ant. I don't know why that's a thing. Hunter of death. Okay, so in your cave of rivers, which is your feelings, it could be that there is just that, especially if there's been a loss, grief not being limited to a person or a pet, but also a job or a situation or something I wanted to come true, whatever the case may be. And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to let things go, because I know they're only transitioning to a different vibratory state. It's like holographically still overplaced. There's very clearly all this interacting. The law of one keeps coming in because it's one. There's no separation. However, the separation that we currently have as a structure here is guidelines. It's guidelines for us to move through the labyrinth of linearity. They really do serve. And yes, the linearity can be very clear, but then if you look back, it feels like a labyrinth and it's all convoluted and confusing. Pause. You have this wonderful diamond, this wonderful place or diamond shape of prismatic perception to feel that, feel the frustration, understand it, but don't let it stop you from whatever it is that you're busting through. And even if it's in regards to a grief or disappointment, it's not, fearful of what's on the other side of what that looks like, because that's a real thing as well. If I move through mourning very deeply the loss that I've had, does that reflect, time, that how much I loved or cared? Okay, suffer, and it's a whole thing, right? So I won't get into it, but it's a thing, a societal, topical, surface judgment thing. Please move through with your ancestors of your traditions, and also look into, again, raw, other civilizations. Yeah, we're still here if you have any images for Libra that come through, because I feel like that's how they're talking to you. It's like suddenly going, not suddenly, but maybe having an interest or an inquiry about going to a smudging ceremony, or for the indigenous, three fires. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be that specifically, but it's like it's answering the call. They're showing you your ancestors are helping you move through the different death and life cycles, because they're on the other end of that too. Remember, they're on their end seeing life and being in the dead, pets, whatnot, others. It doesn't end. It's fluent. It's very fluent. This is the illusion that you're breaking through, and you're answering the call by seeing through the rainbows, the different frequencies, and feeling very open to feel like you can trust your intuition. You're not being tricked. Maybe you feel you have been in the past, and you could be in a place right now where you're like, no, it's like feeling like I'm tricking myself into, but it's kind of like what is that? It's not dark psychology, reverse psychology. You know what I mean? Like maybe you got to do a little trick of the subconscious and say, I don't know, whatever that would be for you, but do you know what I'm saying? I know for me where it works. I absolutely know. But for whatever it is that you're moving through, whatever fears you're busting through, because the thunder drum came through here with answering the call. Like, it is in the heart. You can hear the call, the heartbeat of hurt, the heartbeat of healing, and busting through any tricks or illusions of keeping you in the same place, because no loved one wants you to stay in a space where you are suffering. And please do not stay there because you think or feel we are suffering. That is definitely not the case. Please go for your dreams. Even smudging ceremony was under that. Spirit of water and spirit of air, feeling and thinking. And I cannot deny, Libras, how much has been coming through about the beauty of these two in your two caves of all your ancestors and all of that kind of good stuff. But right from the beginning, the law of one in that cave of sitting there, thinking and feeling. Like, I don't know how to say that it's kind of like you're the one. You know, you're the one. And sometimes that may come with pressures, but are they self-applied? Can you even break through out of your own limitations of the linearity? Decomplicate the labyrinth and pause. And why are we pausing? Pause right smack dab in the labyrinth of it. And it's like, you have it, you have this clue, and you can sit there on the edge of this labyrinth like Humpty Dumpty and suddenly like meditate and levitate and get a little bit of a bigger view. And you can still see everything existing. And you're like, oh, I'm rushing. Because people I don't know if it's you or if you're trying to cover something up or feeling you're covering up, like you don't want to express it. And I feel like Earth can handle it. Your ancestors can handle it. Your pets are still with you to help you as, well, what do they call those pets? Whatever, I don't know. I can't remember what they're called. But you know what I'm saying, right? They're all with you. And I think this is what keeps going. You are still with them. This is not a one-sided, you are weak, they are strong. They are strong, you are weak. That is not the case at all. I really want that to be felt. Okay, so closing out messages here on the bottom we have strength for Libra. Magnificence. Blue flame. You are amazing, magnificent, and unique. But most importantly, you are enough. If you need a break, take a break. Pause. Breathe. Sit on the toilet. Tell yourself a tale. Swipe. Do what you need to do. Swipe, then wipe. Or wipe, then swipe. I don't know. Blue flame. Connect to the blue flame, which is the light of pure love within you. This is your empowerment. Blue flame, prismatic perception, like it almost has a paranormal vibe. And I say that just in a paranormal, even in your psychology, the subconscious and the conscious, this diamond portal space, it's, oh my goodness, I don't know how to, kind of gets me excited. Like I'm like, oh, okay. Because illusions are being broken, even with the thoughts I'm thinking, you're magnificent. I don't need to keep telling you. Inner alchemy and guidance. Did they come through? There we go. Inner alchemy is achieved when you react to fear with love. Answering the call to fear with love of the thunder drum of your heart. Guidance, you are not alone. You are guided by the masters and teachers of the highest realm. And you have an amazing, magnificent, yet we're still here, ancestry team of many, many traditions, many lifetimes that are all right here. And they decorate you. They decorate you. Oh my goodness, they decorate you. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Libras, I hope this served. If I didn't say so already, please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to all those. Links are below if you would like to request a personal and all that kind of good stuff. Thank you so much for your time and attention and awesome awareness. Till next time.